So in this video tutorial, we are moving on to a much more interesting and compact loop called the for loop. And what does it look like? Well, it looks like this. You start with the keyword for. For will be followed by a kind of huge parenthesis, if you may. All right, within the parentheses, you are going to specify three parameters. Number one, the point at which you want to start. Remember, at the end of each parameter, there is the semicolon. So after the point you want to start, don't forget the semicolon. This will be followed by the condition in which you want the loop to continue to execute itself, the semicolon, and then followed by a modification expression. Yes, this is what will actually allow us to modify the action you want to perform in the loop. So don't forget, these three parameters are very important for the for loop. This then will be followed as usual by the curly bracket. And we know what we do with the curly bracket. Our actions usually go in there. So what you actually want to perform, what you actually want to do will be inside the curly bracket. And since I don't like to talk too much, I am within the code now and we want to see the for loop in action. So what we'll simply say is for. For is a keyword. Remember, we are going to follow it by the parentheses. Our parentheses for the for loop expects three parameters, and the first parameter is the starting point. I think I forgot to say that we are about to write the same counter program that counts from 1 to 10. So we simply say counter and set it to the value of 1. Now this is our starting point. Don't forget the semicolon. Now this will be followed by the condition. What is the condition? The condition is that counter is actually less than or equal to 10. Still, do not forget the semicolon. Now what will follow will be our modification expression. Sometimes you might say the ending point. So at this point, what will be our modification expression? This will be simply that counter plus plus. So we simply want to say to modify the value for counter, increase it by 1. So these are the three parameters that are expected of us in the for loop: the start point, the condition, and the modification expression. Now once this is done with, we can now introduce our curly bracket where we can now specify the action we want to perform. Very simple. All we need to do now is echo. What do we want to echo? We want to echo counter. I want to concatenate this, as I always do, with the HTML line break, and this would sum everything up. So I just come here, save this, and come here, refresh this, and we nicely have our numbers printed out from 1 to 10. So you can believe me when I say this is a very interesting and compact loop. So you might just want to pause this video once again because I still want to do the countdown. So you can try it on your own. Meanwhile, let's do this together. I'll change this to 10. I'll change this to greater than. I'll change this to 1. And I'll change this to minus minus. Fair enough. I'll just save this and I will refresh. Some might say, whoa, I think this is the best. This is shorter. This is nicer. Well, I think much depends on preference as far as I'm concerned. And sometimes, as my kind of programmer, I think it depends on my mood too. That might be funny, but sometimes, depending on my mood, I can decide to use a kind of loop. So in that case, you have learned the three basic loops in PHP. play around with these loops for you to get a clearer understanding of them. And that is that about the for loop in PHP. There is still another interesting concept for our loops that we would like to cover in the next video. If you are curious, as usual, you know where to meet me.